Hi, I'm Jackson Bird, and today I am joined by Laura Kampf, who is a designer and maker on YouTube. Laura, do you want to say a little bit more about your channel and where you're from?
Yes, so I'm from Cologne, Germany, and I make weekly videos about making all sorts of things. I don't really care what I'm building as long as I'm building stuff. So it could be furniture, bicycles, stuff for my dog. It's
own
all
house.
over the place. Yeah, my own house, exactly. I built a tiny house a couple months ago.
So I am so excited to have Laura on my channel today because we have very different channels. She makes stuff about building, I make stuff talking about my trans identity, and I don't often have people on my channel who are not trans.
And I never get the chance to ask a trans guy a couple questions.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. This is the first installment of my new series, Ask a Trans Guy. So a couple of disclaimers, though, before we get started. The point of this series is to give people the chance to ask questions that are not normally appropriate to be asking a trans person. If you see a trans person walking down the street or you have a friend who is trans, generally, you don't want to ask them super personal questions. It's better if you do the research on your own. This video is now an opportunity to be that research for you. That is what I'm doing here. I am open to these questions. I'm letting people ask me these things so that you don't have to ask your trans friends. And also, I am only one singular trans guy. I don't speak for everyone. I'll be speaking from my own slightly educated perspective.
Cool. Should we jump in?
Let's do it.
Okay.
So Laura's going to ask me 4 questions, and then I'm going to ask her one, just for fun.
So the first question is probably a question you get all the time. What's your role model when you realized you're trans? Like, who was the person that inspired you and really helped you get through this? Because I know this like from a homosexual perspective, but what's the trans perspective? Who's like the trans icon that helped you deal with all this?
So this is actually one of the things, is that there are not that many. When I was growing up, I had no one.
Yeah.
There were no trans guys that I knew of. I didn't even know that trans guys existed.
I see. Yeah, that's a problem.
It is a problem. It really is. That is changing very rapidly. In the mainstream, I mean, there's not like a Laverne Cox equivalent for like trans guys. Mm-hmm. For me, it was YouTube. I think the first YouTuber that I saw was Skylar Kurgil. Uh-huh. He was someone who was similar to me. You know, right. I could see myself in him. Unlike,
you wanted to identify with him? Was it somebody who were like, oh, this is great, like we're on one team?
Yeah, kind of.
Cool.
Yeah, and it was just sort of showing me like, oh, transition is possible. Like it's something that instead of being like sad and shameful is something where I can go on and have a fulfilled and successful life afterwards. I sort of saw that in him.
Yeah. Is that also a motivation why you are showing so much of yourself, to be a role model for somebody else now?
Oh yeah, definitely. Cool. That definitely is, because I know how lonely and scary it was when I was a kid to not have anyone like me. So, I mean, if I can be the role model that I wish I had been, that would be great.
That's great. So, next question.
Okay, next question.
How do you choose a name? Because
yes.
Do you get that all the time as well?
No, I don't get that question too much.
Okay, because if I had to choose a new name for myself, like I wouldn't even know where to start, because it's so much easier to choose a name for a baby where you don't know the
even that's a lot of pressure.
And that's but it's still easier because you don't know the personality and all that. And I think names and personalities go so close. Like hand in hand. So how did you come up with the name?
It's so intimidating to choose your own name, especially like when people are going to know that you're trans, because they're going to figure you probably chose your own name, and then they're just going to judge you even more.
Yes.
You know, if they don't think the name fits or they don't like it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure. And then also just like, it's your name forever. You want it to be something that you like.
Exactly.
I went through so many different names. There's a couple of videos you can watch about my process.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the video.
No. I'm just plugging. It's fine. I ended up really feeling like I wanted a name that my parents were probably going to have picked for me. Mm-hmm. So my mom had a handful that if I had been assigned male at birth to begin with, she would have named me. So Jackson was one of them.
Okay, cool.
And it just happened to work out for me that Jack was a name that I kind of really liked for myself when I was younger.
Yeah.
So it all worked out.
It's a good name.
Oh, good, thanks.
Yeah, Jackson's a good name. Okay, so the next thing I want to know, remember when Ellen Page came out and the whole community was like, yes! Which celebrity would you like to be secretly trans and now come out to the public and say like, yes, okay, so I'm trans?
Oh my gosh. I think it's hard because I don't want to sort of like put an identity on someone. There are a lot of like really androgynous like lesbian cis women that I think like any of them I would just be like, oh, it's cool, you're on my team now, or kind of thing.
Or would you pick maybe somebody in the sports field now, thinking about
it?
Like, that would be probably the biggest bang, right?
I mean, trans people in sports is like so that's a big thing.
Yeah,
that could be really cool, although I don't know any athletes' names.
No, me neither. I'm just imagining like a football player going like, Yeah, I was a girl.
Oh,
and
yeah.
But he's been like 10 years into his career or something.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
I wasn't even thinking that way of like a trans woman. That would be super, super rad. I mean, it's a big enough deal, at least in the United States, for like American football players to be gay. There's like one that's currently on the roster, I think he hasn't gotten picked in a while, but yeah, it's even that is super rare. So like if a really masculine like athlete, I mean that's happened with Caitlyn Jenner, you know, she was like American hero, gold Olympian.
Okay, so last question.
All right, last question.
How expensive is testosterone? Like one shot of testosterone. Enough. If I took a shot now, would that change anything?
Oh, so two-part question.
Yes.
Okay, you're sneaking some in. So the cost varies drastically across nations. I guess in a lot of Europe it's just covered by your healthcare. Although some people do go private because of the waiting times and stuff. In the United States, depending on how big a vial you get, it averages out to something like maybe $60 every couple of months.
Oh, okay.
So it's not too bad. I think that's out of pocket. When health insurance covers it, then it gets into how much you're going to pay for a copay. I don't know if you even know what that is.
No.
Yeah,
I'm just nodding.
You don't have how complicated things are. So you pay several $100s of health insurance every month, and then when you go to the doctor, you still have to pay like maybe $20 or something instead of paying like a couple $100. So it's better, but
it's not
healthcare
great.
in the U.S. is
let's not get into that.
So it varies, and you know, for some people that is still not affordable, but I think there is a misconception sometimes with some trans people starting out that it's going to completely like break your budget.
Yeah, I thought it would be way more expensive.
Hormone blockers for kids who like haven't gone through puberty yet are very expensive. I think those are like a couple thousand per injection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And if I would inject testosterone now, like would that change anything, or is that like one shot doesn't do anything? I would just have like, oh, I have a good day or whatever.
Yeah. So it would. You do get some changes right away, but I think if you just did one shot and then like nothing ever again, they would probably reverse.
Okay.
The changes that kind of happen from your first shot, and this is if you're really taking like a full dose of the kind that is like, you know, made to be used for this purpose, not like you just took some extra steroids or something.
Yeah.
Your throat will get like a little sore and kind of like maybe start to drop a little bit. And then there's some stuff that happens below the belt that is actually one of the very first changes that happens.
All right.
Yeah, and some people will stop menstruating after just one shot.
Forever?
For as long, yeah. I've got some in the suitcase. You want? No, that would be like if you kept up with it.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, like facial hair takes months to years. Extra body hair, same thing. You might get like a little extra energy and strength right away. It's not one shot and then you Hulk out.
Run through a wall.
All right, so now I have one question for you.
Yes.
So you're here in LA right now. I know you've been to America once or twice before.
Yes.
I'm sort of curious what you've perceived as any differences with regards to LGBT culture between Germany and the United States.
So I don't have too much experience with gay culture in America because I'm usually just here for very short trips or just vacation. Even at home, I'm not a big person to go out in gay clubs and all that. So I'm not familiar with the culture at all, but I can tell you that my first gay pride was in Washington, D.C., and I wasn't out then. I didn't know I was gay, so I accidentally walked into this parade and I thought, wow, like everybody was so happy and rainbow colors and so open and so much diversity. I was completely blown away, and that was the first time I thought like, oh shit, I think I might be gay. It was really good, and that speaks for
the importance of pride.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
good question.
Yeah, that was a great story. Well, Laura, thank you so much for joining me
for
this beta test experiment of the series. So everyone, make sure you go check out Laura's channel, subscribe to her channel. It is beautiful cinematography, and you learn so much. And I just get blown away by everything that you're able to build.
Thank you.
Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you want to see new videos every Wednesday, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll put Laura's Twitter and Instagram. Do you do Twitter? Just Instagram.
Instagram,
I'll put your Instagram down in the description box below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.